gentlemen, we're doing one of those motovlog thingies. But first, before we start, we have to stop at the stop sign. This is very crucial. And we're going to do it without putting our feet down because we're pro and we're stuck in traffic. Okay, I'm actually going to try and turn around here because I've been driving for a while now and I'd like to loop around and go back the other way. And we will talk about today's video discussion while we stop at the stop sign just one more time. Here we go, ready? Stopping at the stop sign. We're gonna let this guy go first. It's all you, man. Come on, bring it, bring it, bring it, bring it. Thank you. Okay, so today we're talking a little bit about, it's actually a very convoluted and odd topic. There's no really specific way of saying it. I guess the one big way that digital releases have influenced how I celebrate some of the biggest game launches that I'm looking forward to with my friends. Let's put it that way. The big thing for me is, going back 6-7 years ago, digital releases not so prominent. Pretty much everybody buying everything on disc. And that was a sewer. And going to midnight releases at their local game stores. So there's a couple factors actually that have kind of stopped me from continuing to do that. Like I can still go do a hard copy release for most games on the Xbox One especially at the Microsoft store, and they actually have really amazing midnight releases with like awesome stuff and free crap all over the place. I did it for Sunset Overdrive and I got a bunch of free stuff including a whole year of Xbox music. But for the most part, age, obviously, you get older and people just have less time for those sorts of things. Midnight releases aren't that great at stores anymore, and like I said, the digital issue, that most of the stuff you're buying is digital, especially if we're talking about PC games. When was the last time anyone bought a hard copy game on PC? Unless it was like a Blizzard product. Like, it's just, a lot less people are doing that, and it's becoming the norm for digital releases. So we've kind of went away from the whole going to the midnight release thing. I mean, there was a point in my life when I was far less busy and far less focused on where I wanted to go in my future, where, we would show up at a midnight release 5 hours in advance, 6 hours in advance, and just hang out online. Lots of other people would show up eventually. We'd chat with randoms, we'd play hacky sack. It was just like, the place where we went, the GameStop we actually went to, had a really big parking lot at that, and it was empty all the time. So we'd bring our bicycles, we'd have manual competitions and stoppy competitions, and we'd bring RC cars, like just be havoc in the parking lot, just having fun screwing around. It was a great place to get together with complete strangers and have a good time celebrating the launch of a game, or at least having an excuse to get together and just talk to people. So that's very much faded away. And I wanted to ask if it was the same thing with your life. Are there a lot of factors, again, kind of making that the same situation I'm in? Is it just by choice? Because what I want to try and do moving forward, and I've talked about this, and it's a difficult thing when you're older. You don't have a lot of free time, but I'm going to be trying to do it with No Man's Sky with some of my friends, is actually getting some people together to celebrate the No Man's Sky release. At my house, some food, and we're going to play some hacky sack. And my bike's going to stall. And the light really needs to turn because my bike is running super hot and I can feel it. Watch me stall before I get to finish this conversation. Alright, we're gonna pull out the choke a little bit so we can idle higher at lights, and we're gonna try and make it home. This has now become a video game in itself. I have to make it home while my bike is overheating, or I could just pull over somewhere and talk to you guys. I think we might do that. That's probably the logical thing. So let's find a good parking lot, and then we'll continue to talk about my No Man's Sky release stuff and why I want to ask you guys to try and do something similar. If it's at all possible, and this is something you once have done, to get some friends together, have an excuse to get together and just hang out around the environment, the atmosphere of video games. I think that's an awesome thing, and I think it's something well worth taking advantage of. Where can we pull over? That's the question. I technically need to make a left up here at this gas station. I'd like to make the light and then we can pull up after the light. So let's do this. Let's do this, man. The light's still green, people. I can't stop because I will overheat my bike and stall right now. It is wicked hot out today. It doesn't look hot out today. Trust me, it's hot out today. Even with the sun going down, it's got to be like 80. Which I know it's hotter somewhere else, but when you got an old 2-cylinder Harley, old beats went gnarly. It's just, you know, bad things are gonna happen. So we'll pull over up here. Anyways, like I was saying, I applaud you to get together and try and celebrate the midnight release of any game that's coming up. You know, use it as an excuse to get together, because I think that's one of the powerful things about video games, is that outside human element that we can actually, I mean, it's like you can't do it with film and stuff, but I don't know, games just, there's something for me anyways personally that's always been so prominent about getting together and celebrating the release of a game with one another. We're gonna pull over up here. This dude doesn't rear end me. I'm gonna try and throw up my hand signal in combination with my real signal, and we'll see how things go. It's actually pull up by this truck. Whew. Okay, gas is off. That's off. That's a international. That's a damn old truck. That looks awesome. This thing is super hot, and we're sitting in the sun. So yeah, I really would applaud you to do that. I'm gonna try and do something similar. I think that would be super cool. It's just something you don't get to do anymore. You know, digital release for my group really has actually changed that. And the thing is now, it's a silly stigma, right? Because with a game being digital, it makes more sense to do midnight release stuff like that now, because it's so much easier. You used to have to go to a store, disc. Specifically, when we did a couple of the Microsoft Store midnight releases, you've got huge install files on these games now. It's like, oh yeah, let's get home and all play GTA 5 together. Oh, it's like a 28 gig install. Okay. I'll see you guys at 3 in the morning when I'm ready to pass out. So now that it's digital, everything's like you preload it, which is awesome. Let's get out and take a look at this truck. What do we say? You just preload everything, which is super cool. And that way, you know, your friends leave your house, they go to their house, and everybody's good to go. I would love to have an old truck like this. I have an obsession for materialistic things like automobiles. Like, it's just so simple and clean. I love simple interiors in old trucks. Look at the dashboard on this thing. Oh, so cool. No clutch, so it's definitely automatic, just on the column. It's not actually in that bad a condition, the interior. I mean, you definitely need to do a little bit of work. He's got a can of gum out back here. Or no, it looks like it's for a flat. How many miles is that? 69,000. It doesn't even go above 69,000 miles. So when they built this truck, they're like, no one will ever do 100,000 miles in this truck. It is hot out. 1990. 1991 was the last year it was registered, at least on that. I mean, bumper rust, some bubbling on the body, but that's a pretty, I don't know if that's the original paint job, but that's pretty clean still, man. That's pretty awesome. Oh, it's so bad. If I ever actually end up being somebody who is able to afford things like that on a whim, I'll be the guy who actually buys the crap. I always said, though, the one thing I have to do, because when I was a kid I was very bad with taking apart my toys and then not putting them back together, is I need to buy one thing at a time, finish the project, and then move on to the next thing. Because there's no doubt that I will be like that with mechanical stuff in my life. But, you know, you just got to have like a different disciplined vehicle of each thing. So you have like a, you know, a truck. You got a car, a bike, a couple bikes, a couple different trucks, you know, just a few here and there, like a couple dozen maybe, right? Nothing big deal. Well, let's see if the bike will start up. How about that, guys? Because it's wicked hot. I'm going to go ahead and say no, and we're going to have to let it sit for a little bit. So let's kind of wrap up our conversation while I let the bike cool down, which is why we don't go for really long rides, guys. This bike still just doesn't want to run well when the weather's really hot, at least not for extended periods of time. Yeah, that's the big question I'm going to leave you guys with then, is, you know, what are midnight releases like for you? Do you celebrate game releases? You know, is that something that you can fit into your life anymore? Is it something that you care to? I'm not saying, you know, nobody should have to feel like, yeah, we have to, or feel bad because they don't. You know, if it's just something you're not interested in, you're not interested in. And I think for a while, and for the most part, I'm comfortable with not really having those celebrations anymore. But I feel like on certain occasions, when everyone's got that same sort of excitement for a game, it's just a great excuse to get together. And I like getting together, like I said, around video games. I'm at that point in my life where I only like to do things if it's something I really like to do. Like, you know, if somebody was like, hey, you want to go play putt-putt? I'd be like, you know, I could probably tolerate putt-putt, but no. You want to play Lasertron? I could probably tolerate Lasertron, but no. Not something I'm super interested in. So that's just the way it goes. Yeah, that's not going to start. Okay, I'm going to sit here on the side of the road while this very hot bike sits between my legs. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. This will be Monday when this video goes up. Stream tomorrow. You probably already saw the post. Expect some good content along the way. And let me know your thoughts on the whole midnight release thing. How has digital affected that for you? Any plans in the future to put together a little midnight release party of your own? Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.